The point of a video game is to create an interactive experience. Ian Dallas, through his game, pushes both creativity and the feeling generated by that experience. This video will look at his Red Thread. A narrative thread connects all his works and runs through the themes he explores. We will consider the games where he was involved to the full extent. Story structure, writing, leading the project in some shape or form. Also, a video game has an active side that differentiates it from the other narrative medias. It's a game, therefore you play it to proceed in the story. All Dallas games deal with the grieving process. They deal with the loss of relatives, their metaphorical journeys that touch upon death and how the protagonists cope with it. The dealing itself is never addressed directly. However, the theme of death is constantly present, and the game reminds the player that loss is part of the journey. The Unfinished Swan, for example, opens with the protagonist, a boy called Monroe, losing his mother and the fact that she left an unfinished paint of a swan that takes life on its own. For the entirety of the game, you chase after that painting until you have the opportunity to paint the final stroke, fulfilling the desire of the protagonist's mother. In What Remains of Edith Finch, the protagonist, Edith Finch, explores by visiting the family house the fate and demise of all members of the Finch family as a way to remember her past and to deal with the loss of the one she knew, like her grandmother and mother. Both games create a moving experience while the protagonist's loss becomes our own, as if we are experiencing that pain and memories. Even if the games deal with death, they don't do so in a depressing way. Quite the opposite, the focal point becomes moving on, by experiencing life and actively doing things in the memory of the one we lost, taking them along because they keep living through us. Their experiences do not get lost, but enriches our own. Monroe has an imaginative journey that teaches him to finish things and preserve what he does, and Edith teaches his son that life never ends, but keeps going through the memories of our loved ones. To remember them means to keep them alive. Although the theme of his games is a heavy one, he balances out the gameplay with a tremendous amount of creativity. His games are immersed in creativity both from a gameplay point of view and level design. Even though playing his games is extremely simple, just moving in the map and clicking the mouse a few times, the experience is fantastic, since the surroundings and the action constantly change. They are clearly built so that a child could play them and be moved by them. But like many great works of narrative for children, they have many levels of interpretation. In The Unfinished Swan, the main mechanic is color and shape. To navigate the first level, which is entirely white, to understand where you need to go, you have to shoot a ball of black ink. When it hits a wall or a shape of some sort, it will stain it, making the level appear in front of your eyes, giving you the sensation you are creating the world around you. The game is built like a fable, keeping the subject light and becoming a great metaphor to deal with loss. In What Remains of Edith Finch, each relative death story is a mini-level with a different mechanic and design, establishing the difference of each relative's personality and view of the world through the gameplay, making them feel like round characters. Furthermore, everything is accompanied by Edith's voice, who narrates and comments about each life, making it personal to the player, adding the illusion of reality and accepting death as a moving journey. On a personal note, Ian Dallas games are a must. If you love the media, you have to play them for the beautiful interactive experiences they are. What is even more impressive is that in few hours, they are short games, they have an extraordinary impact on the player from an emotional point of view. They are a straight story that pushes on the most common experience of people, losing a loved one. In the description you'll find a link to both his games. Onward to the next author!